Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal. In this edition, I take a quick solo hike up the Cedar Springs Trail to the Pacific Crest Trail and hike south to the summit of Pyramid Peak, one of the 9 peaks along the Desert Divide. Along the way, I test out a new hydration vest while wearing my Luna sandals. Now, Pyramid Peak is not the tallest peak in the range or the most difficult to get to, but it's definitely one of the most visible from the west. As you drive up Morris Ranch Road from Highway 74 on your way to the popular Cedar Springs Trail, you'll see it directly in front of you as you climb up the road. Once on top of the divide, I'll hang a right and head southbound on the Pacific Crest Trail for a couple of miles and scramble up a narrow and hard-to-find use trail to the summit. When you tell people you just climbed Pyramid Peak, they'll most likely think, wow, that's a tough 4,000 foot of elevation gain at the top of a 10,000 foot peak near Lake Tahoe. Or maybe they'll just think, geez, that's a 4,300 foot climb up to a 14er near Aspen, Colorado. Well, this Pyramid Peak doesn't quite make it up that high. In fact, it's barely half the height. At 7,031 feet, it ranks as only the 24th highest in the San Jacinto Mountains, and it's only 52 out of 128 in the San Bernardino Forest. But don't let that discourage you. It's still a tough hike and definitely one you'll enjoy, especially in the cooler months, or like I did when the monsoon moisture comes swirling up from the Gulf of Mexico. As you begin climbing up the San Jacinto Mountains heading northbound along the P.C.T., the views along this section are breathtaking. The entire Santa Rosa Range to the south, the San Jacinto Wilderness up to the north, the Coachella Valley to the east, and Garner Valley, Thomas Mountain, along with Lake Hemet to the west. And that first 7,000 foot peak you run into is, you guessed it, Pyramid Peak. Now, although the name Pyramid Peak was first introduced in the United States Forest Service San Bernardino National Forest map in 1959, the United States Geological Survey benchmark on the summit reads Morris. Well, maybe that's because if you head straight up Morris Ranch Road, you'll see it ahead of you on the right. From the gate at Cedar Springs Trailhead on Morris Ranch Road, it's about 3.5 miles to Pyramid Peak, give or take, if you go off trail like I did, or if you decide to spend some time exploring some beautiful sections along the divide. For the first 3/4 of a mile, the trail alternates between a trail and a fire road, past a large water tower that was donated oddly enough by the Irvine Company. At the third gate, you'll finally be entering the National Forest boundary. The trail here is rocky, but it's well graded, even though it climbed mostly the whole way. I only had to stop a couple times to catch my breath or take a swig of water along the way. Eventually, in another 1.5 miles, you'll reach the top of the Cedar Springs Trail, and you'll get to take a breather under the shade of a perfectly placed tree and an even more perfectly placed timber beam that makes a great seat. Take a few minutes to catch up on your hydration and grab a snack maybe, before walking east a short distance to a magnificent view overlooking the Palm Desert. When you've recovered, pick up the P.C.T. heading south up a slightly rocky trail and take a minute or two to sign in on the summit register for Little Desert Peak. Don't worry, it's super easy to get to. It'll only take you a couple of minutes. Believe me, it's worth it, as the views from up here are really impressive. Continuing southbound, the trail undulates mildly up and down with even better views off to the left, across the divide, and a series of rugged brown ridges and valleys shown on the map as Hell's Kitchen. From here, directly ahead just a little to the left, is a tall monolith rock jutting up from atop a 2-step peak. This is Pine Mountain. And if you've got it in you, you can hit this one after Pyramid Peak. It's not that far, it just requires a little bit of off-trail bushwhacking. Pyramid Peak is just around the corner after you pass through a short but steep trail briefly on the west side of a smaller peak. Here there is some shade and, believe it or not, a pine tree or two. Once past this shallow saddle, you can't miss Pyramid Peak. It's directly in front of you, slightly to the right. Now's the hard part, finding that damn cairn that marks the start of the use trail to the top. There's also another slightly used game trail about a 1/4 mile before this point, which switchbacks through thicker brush up the northeastern face. I tried it, and believe me when I say it's all bad news. I got cut up pretty good plowing through the brush here, and I was just trying to get back to the P.C.T. I highly don't recommend that one. Once you've survived the steep climb and bushwhack to the top, retrace your steps as best you can, following the numerous cairns that you probably missed on the way up. Once back on the P.C.T., you're home scot-free. Well, kinda. You still gotta hike down all 14 switchbacks on the Cedar Springs Trail to get back to your vehicle, and that ice-cold beverage you've been thinking about for the last hour. On the way down, there's great views of both East and North Canyons, as well as Trip Meadow along the way. But as this portion of the trail remains in the sun during spring and summer, it's gonna be a scorcher. This is where that wide brim hat and sunglasses come in real handy. All right, you ready to do this? Okay, let's get to it. Well, I'm doing the Cedar Springs Trail again, and this time I'm doing it a little different. Wearing a hydration vest and carrying a lot of water. I've got 1.5 liter bladder in the back, along with two 16-ounce bottles and another 16-ounce bottle of electrolytes. It's going to be warm today. There's a chance of thunderstorms as well. It's only 20-30%, but a couple days ago they got a pretty good downpour up here. Some of the roads were wet a couple days ago, and it doesn't look too bad right now. I'm glad that it got a little bit of moisture to hold the dust down. But anyway, I'm going to try to hit up to the Cedar Springs Trail. I'm going to go right, and I'm going to shoot for Pyramid Peak. I might do Pine Peak. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. I'm not going to be doing a trail run. I'm just going to be hiking. I'm going to be hiking faster. I'm carrying a lot less weight and testing out this new hydration pack, see how it goes. Got a hydration bladder. So we'll see how this works out. All right, well, I made it through the lower half, and I was moving pretty quick. I'm actually sweating a lot, and some pretty ominous clouds moving in, and now I've got the dreaded 14 switchbacks. The one good thing though about the switchbacks is they're not graded very bad, so even though they're uphill, it's manageable. Be nice to get a little rain. I haven't seen rain in forever. Trail's pretty rocky, but I've done worse in the sand. These things can go almost anywhere. I feel like a mountain goat in these things. You can see the view behind me. I'm climbing up. I'm on switchback 4 of 14. But as I get to the switchback up here, you'll also notice that the clouds are coming in. I'd be happy with just clouds. Block that sun, as long as it didn't get too humid. Anyway, I'm motoring pretty good. Well, thankfully there's just a little bit of breeze right here. Other than that, it's hot. And I'm sweating. I'm sweating pretty good. Oh man. I think I'm on this little steep section here. I think I'm on switchback 6. Almost halfway, not quite. You know, I haven't been counting the switchbacks, but I've got to be at least 10 by now. And I can feel the moisture. I can feel the barometer changing, the pressure's changing. And I can feel the moisture, and there are spots along the trail where you can see where the runoff has come down and its soil is wet. And over the last week, almost every day, there's been a massive thunderhead building over Santa Rosa and Toro Peak, which is that direction, pretty much south and southeast. And it's been building all day. And when it blows in this direction, that's where we're getting the rain and the lightning. And I really don't want to be along the top if it starts to get some lightning. Down here in the switchbacks, I'm okay, because I'm about the same height as everything else, but up there in the ridge, I'm probably the tallest thing, especially if I go to one of those peaks. Well, I'm getting pretty close to the P.C.T. here, and heading right toward this big ominous cloud. But I think it's going to be blowing away from me and not toward me. And this is that stretch where I saw the rosy boa last time I was up here, so I'm going to go kind of slow. I'd love to get another chance to see him. Some people were surprised that I even saw a rosy boa at this elevation. I was too, actually. In fact, this is the P.C.T. right here in front of me, I believe. Yeah. This is about where I saw him. I guess no luck today. There's no wind up here either. That's a good spot for a break. I could use a break. Pop an energy gel maybe. Get a little snack. As we're looking northbound on the P.C.T. that direction. And it's 3 miles to the Fobbs Junction. The actual Cedar Springs itself is this way. And if you've never been up the Cedar Springs Trail before, what you get here is a phenomenal view. And it gets better as we go higher up, down into Palm Desert. That's Interstate 10 way off in the distance. And that's looking northbound toward those clouds. Hopefully it'll, it's even worse over here. And that's where I'm going. Oh well, I'm gonna take a short break. Get a little energy in me and then head off. You always got to make sure there's no rattlesnakes. There's a whole swarm of ants right here, but luckily they're not on this log here as I take a break. I'm not used to this pack, so far so good. And now I get to eat a totally melted Pro Max bar. It's okay, I got to get something in me. I didn't eat much today. Oh boy, this is going to be gnarly here. It almost looks like a big turd. Pro Max protein bar. Got 20 grams of protein though. I've had these before, they're pretty good. Basically a candy bar is what it tastes like. So far the sandals are working out great. No problems. A couple days ago, like 3 days ago, I was in the garage, I was barefooted. I was working on some stuff and had this big metal and wood portable workbench. Remember the old Workmate, the Black & Decker Workmate? Well, that's what I had. It's an old one. And it fell over and the metal edge took a big chunk right out of the end of my big toe. And it kind of avulsed it. I mean, it's a pretty big chunk. Bled like a mother. I wasn't able to wear shoes for a couple days. And I thought, well, if I wear boots today with wool socks, my feet are going to get hot. It's going to get all moist and soggy and sticky, and that chunk of meat is going to come right off my toe. So I thought, well, if I wear sandals, at least it'll be airy, and it'll get a good circulation. It'll get dirty, but hopefully I won't stub my toe on a rock. But, I think I'm going to have to rethink this Pro Max bar. Something else I thought of on the way up here, and I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. I should have froze it. Number one, I should have froze it. And then number two, I should have put it next to my hydration bladder because that was refrigerated all night. Didn't think of that. Anyway, from here I got to go that way. Southbound P.C.T. I'm going to try to find that damn Karen. Maybe I can get my way up to a pyramid. We'll see. At least there's a little bit of a breeze right here. Well, I left the Cedar Springs P.C.T. junction. Now I'm heading southbound. And that's Pyramid on the left. Pine is the one with a large rock monolith on top. I'm going to spin around here so you can see the view west from Little Desert Peak. And you can see the switchbacks over there coming up the Cedar Springs Trail. And you can also see the P.C.T. heading northbound. And way off in the distance is San Jacinto. And let's look this way, since we're already here. That's looking toward Toro and Santa Rosa Peak. Way off in the distance, San Zaborrego. The trees are kind of in the way, not a great spot to see looking east. We'll get a better view here in a minute. I signed in on the Little Desert Peak last time I was here. Actually, I didn't because I didn't have a PIN. So that's the sign-in register right there. All right, well, there's Pyramid Peak right there. And from this angle, it looks like there's almost a trail. There's two different ways to get up there. This one is from the heading southbound, and one is coming northbound. And I think that's it. And I'm feeling raindrops. Just a couple of really small, light, misty drops. And along the ridgeline there, that big rock, that's the top of Pine Mountain. I'm gonna have to get going if I'm gonna hit Pyramid, because I think I'm gonna get some rain. Well, I still can't find that damn Karen Pyramid. So I just kind of went up the ridgeline, cross country, and I see this little flat rock on top of rock. But what I also see up here is that, and ain't no doubt that's a cairn of some kind. Maybe it's just a viewpoint. I don't know. I'm definitely starting to get a little more rain. Well, I can tell you what, that sure as hell wasn't a trail. Let's see where this goes. I went up and to the right. I ended up in a quagmire of oak brush and all kinds of crap. They're definitely just like this shit right here. You can't even get through it. So who knows? I'm just trying to get back to the trail now. Looks like there's something right here. Don't know what this is. All right, this is not what I signed up for here. Just trying to find it. Way back to the P.C.T. Jesus Christ. It's right here. I just can't get to it. This stuff is hard to get through, man. All right. Holy shit. That sure as hell wasn't worth it. I gotta get all the shit out of my sandals. Well, I wonder how many ticks I got out of that plow through, huh? Oh, you want to know something kind of funny? That scrambling I was doing kind of took a toll on me there. While I went through that brush, I got a cut down here on my leg, and then one on my arm. Got one on this arm, and all that was for nothing because that wasn't even a fucking peak. Pyramid Peak's right in front of me. I just finally smartened up and looked at my map. I got on all trails, and sure enough, the cairn is somewhere right up here, and there's another ridge that heads up to the top. So that's Pyramid. You got a great view of Pine, though. So we'll see. I'm doing good time-wise, and the little few drops that I got kind of stopped. It's definitely building, though, so I can't take too long of a break. I had to keep going. Just cross your fingers I find that damn cairn. I'm not doing that again. No way. All right, well, there's Pine. Pyramid is up there somewhere, and this is the Pacific Crest Trail right here. So I'm hiking along and looking for that damn cairn. You see it? I don't see it. There's a lizard right there, alligator lizard. He's sitting right on the cairn. There you go. He's telling us that's it right there. That's the turn. And it looks like there's a cairn. There's another one up there. Another one up the ridge. Oh shit. This is steep, man. This reminds me of when I did Margarita Peak in the Cleveland National Forest. It was straight up and it was loose scree and rock and brush, and I was using my hands, and that's not too far from it. At least this is a little bit bigger, a little wider than the other crap I did over there. I can see the, I think is the peak up here, and I still see some cairns in front of me, but they're few and far between. You got to keep your eyes open. And there's still lots of brush, man. I'm gonna get scratched up pretty good. Another cut right there. Another one on my arms. I'm really gonna have to do a tick check when I get home. Got a great view though. Check this out. That's a view of the Palm Desert right there. That's Hell's Kitchen. That convoluted series of steep gullies and ravines that are all brown, and then on the other side of that is all the Coachella Valley, and that's Interstate 10 running down the middle of it. Salton Sea is way off to the right. Probably won't be able to see it in the haze. And of course, Pine Mountains right there. And Santa Rosa and Toro Peak are over there. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to catch my breath, cool down a little bit for this little push to the top of the pyramid. Hopefully I'll make it. Cross your fingers. You know, it's hard to get a real appreciation for just how steep this is. Oh, it's getting dark over there. Thank God for cairns like this one. They're easy to see. And occasional flat boulders, a great spot to take a little breather, catch your breath. Well, I've been climbing for about a half hour, I guess. It's a good view of pine. I worked my way up to this rock outcrop. And it looks like this is it. Or at least one of them. Let's see what it says. Can't tell. Looks like it says Morris. And I believe that's what the benchmark says up here. We're going to go a little higher up. Just a little bit to that rock outcrop right there. See what we got. And it looks like there's another benchmark right up here. I'll go take a look at that here in a second. Well, this is a tough one, man. I have a feeling I probably won't be doing this one again. Let's see if I can get a good view. And it looks like this is another one that says Morris. Get a little closer there. This is the view from the top. Ooh, I'm a little lightheaded there. Got a good view of Lake Hemet off in the distance. Looks like San Jacinto's in the clouds. You know what's funny is all these rocks are loose up here. Well, this is it. This is the top of Pyramid Peak along the San Jacinto Divide. And looks like it's getting really dark over that direction towards San Jacinto. Desert doesn't look so bad. There's some big thunderheads, but there's also some more thunderheads over Santa Rosa and Toro. But man, the ones over that direction are pretty ominous looking. Well, there's Lion Peak. Right there's Lion. That's Camp Sherwin down there. I'll take a few minutes up here, take a break, get something to snack on, and then start working my way back down. From the top of Pyramid Peak. Well, I made it up to the top of Pyramid Peak. I didn't think I was going to do it there for a while. Man, that first peak, I don't know, I'm going to have to look that other peak up, man. That was rough. That was definitely rough. I'm going to have some of these I don't know what they're called, Scratch Energy Chews. Kind of like gummies, they're pretty good. Rain's held off. I'm not going to do pine. I don't have it in me today. I mean, I could probably do it if I had more time. But it's getting really dark over there. And I have a feeling thunder and lightning's going to be coming. Got a couple of cuts on me here. Believe it or not, I don't have any cuts on my feet. Wearing sandals, plowing through that nothing. But my shins have seen the better of it. That's a jet. Thought it was thunder there for a minute. But anyway, I'm going to take a few minutes. I already sent out the in-reach message to my wife that I made it to the top of the pyramid, so at least she knows where I was alive last. And I'm going to be heading down. I can't believe how quick I got here. I left the car a little after 8. It's only 10. I've been here 15 minutes. It's only 10:30. Tell you what, man, you can hike a lot faster wearing sandals than you can in boots or even trail runners. I can probably fly down the trail going back. And believe it or not, this vest works pretty good. I haven't even touched these 2 bottles. I bet I've got over 3/4 of my hydration bladder. All I've had is this 16-ounce. This is also electrolyte drink. So, but I got to hammer the liquids on the way down because I haven't had enough. I know. But it's supposed to be 107 in the valley today, and it's actually, with that little bit of breeze we get right here, it's nice. It's probably 75. I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Anyway, take a few minutes. Chew on my little Scratch Energy Chews. Get caught up on my hydration and start plowing my way back down from the top of Pyramid Peak. Well, there's a nice little coach whip just sitting in the rocks. Oh, look at that. Oh, there he goes. He's quick. Well, looks like we got us a tarantula hawk. Those are pretty cool. You don't see those too often. They actually kill tarantulas and eat them, believe it or not. Look at that green belly. How cool is that? All right, well, I'm already back to the junction of the northbound P.C.T. and the Cedar Springs Trail, and I'm not even going to stop. Feel pretty good, actually. So I was going to keep on going, and I ought to make great time going down. I can't believe it's only 11:15. I went from the car to the peak, back to here in 3 hours. That's phenomenal for me. So I attribute that to probably 85% of it's probably the little sandals, and the rest of it is the fact that I can hydrate on the go wearing this vest without having to stop, and I'm not carrying as much. So, and even though it's hot up here, a little bit of clouds make a difference. So should be down in, I would imagine, a little over maybe an hour. It's about 2.5, maybe 2 miles. So probably going to be home back to the car sooner than that. Probably averaging close to 3 miles an hour right now. So, and it's only, I think, 3.5 to the spring. So maybe I'll see another snake on the way down. That'd be kind of nice. I could almost run. Well, I probably could run, but some spots here it's pretty rocky and the rocks are loose, and I don't want to take a tumble coming down, end up blowing out my knee or twisting an ankle, because there's probably not going to be a lot of traffic up here today. In fact, I might be the only hiker they'll see up here today. Anyway, heading down. All right, well, I'm working my way down the switchbacks. I'm about a little over halfway, and starting to rain. just sprinkly drops right now, but if it picks up a lot, actually, I'm going to have to put the camera away and get out my Ziploc bag and secure my phone and my microphone. I don't want to get that wet, but I'm still making a good time. I can see the meadow down there, which is basically just past the end of the switchbacks. Still got a few to go, 4 or 5 maybe. Then once I get to the meadow, it'll flatten out a little bit, and hopefully the rain will quit. So we'll see. So far, still doing well, and haven't kicked any rocks yet. Well, it looks like I made it down the Cedar Springs Trail. None the worse for wear. I didn't get rained on. I didn't get rained on too much. A little sprinkle here and there, and that's about it. And it's a record time for me. It's 12 straight up. So I went from the car to the top of the Cedar Springs Trail, went southbound P.C.T, went up to the top of Pyramid Peak, came back to the Cedar Springs Trail, came down, and made it all the way back to the car in 3 hours and 45 minutes. It's a record time for me. I wasn't on a speed mission today. I'm sure a lot of people can do this a lot faster, probably in half the time. But for me, that's pretty good, so I deserve a beer. Well, that's what you call just in the nick of time, man. As soon as I got in the car, it started raining. That was like perfect timing. You know, it hasn't rained so long at our house that I might sit here for a minute and enjoy it. But man, that was a good hike. That was it's about 8 to 10 miles in 4 hours. A 2,000-foot gain. So for me, that's good. And hell, I might just sit here and enjoy my beverage and roll the windows down and listen to the rain, huh? Well, that looks like it'll do it for the Cedar Springs Trail, the Pyramid Peak. And it's raining actually pretty good. It's just so nice. I haven't seen rain in so long. I'm just going to enjoy it. And the Jeep could use a bath, I guess. It was a pretty interesting hike. Didn't see one single person all day. Nobody on the way up, nobody on the way back, nobody along the P.C.T. And it could have been a lot hotter. I got to give it credit. That little bit of cloud cover we had made a big difference. It was probably 75 maybe on top. And wasn't bad at all. It was warm, a little humid. We have a little subtropical moisture coming in from a hurricane off the coast of Mexico, of Baja, working its way up. And you could tell, I was kind of hoping we'd get a little bit of lightning and thunder, even though I was a little nervous to be up on the divide, with a lightning storm. I probably definitely would have had to have made a beeline down from the top from that. But I was able to make it okay. And now I only got like a 45-minute drive home. And I'll be done for the day. That was a good trip. That was a good day hike. I probably, if I would have had more time, I could have done Pine Mountain too as well. If I had some other people with me and I was prepared for a full day adventure, then that's something I could do. You figure I was hauling ass for the most part. And I made it back to the car by noon. And if I had another 4 hours, I could have done Pine Mountain, no problem. So maybe another day, maybe when it gets a little cooler, maybe when there's no storm brewing. But anyway, I hope you like this edition of the Journal. My hike up to the top of Pyramid Peak along the Desert Divide near San Jacinto in the San Bernardino National Forest. Anyway, in a couple of weeks, actually by the time this comes to air, it'll probably be in about a week, we're going to head up to Bishop Pass, and we're going to be taking part of the trail. It's part of the north-south loop, and we're going to be going up past Long Lake and Saddle Rock Lake and Bishop Lake, up and over Doozy, up and over Bishop Pass and Doozy Basin. That's the plan, at least. We'll see. As of right now, there's no fire restrictions. There's no fires in the backcountry, but there never is anyway because it's over 10,000 feet. We're going to be at a high elevation this time. It's going to be probably over 11, and maybe we'll get a little under that at Doozy Basin, but I think Saddle Rock Lake's 11. So we're going to be dealing with altitude sickness a little bit, and I'm sure we'll be dealing with wind, and I'm actually looking forward to the cool weather. Anyway, that'll all be coming up here in the edition after this one, our trip to South Lake and Bishop Pass. Anyway, be sure and click and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next edition of the Journal. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the Hiking Journal, my solo trip up to Pyramid Peak. If you haven't done so already, click the like and subscribe button, and be sure and tell your friends about the channel. Hopefully, it'll motivate them to get the dust off their boots and hit the trail. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.